Hello, everybody. I am Walter Von Hune.
And I'm Mike Clayson.
We're here today to have another discussion about a topic that I hope you find interesting, that we do. And let's talk about not religion, so to speak, but what people find in religion versus what they find in spirituality. And what do you think?
Well, I think we were talking about meaning earlier, and that's how we got started, and that's when we said, let's tape this. So, to me, spirituality, religion, is meaning is a way of people trying to find purpose in their life. People talk about, you read these happiness gurus, and when they talk about what happiness is, they, it's sitting on the beach with a margarita, or it's riding around in a boat or flying your plane. But the reality of those things is that is just short duration. That there's only so many margaritas, there's only so many boat rides, there's only so many trips to Europe, and it turns out to just be those things. To me, it has never improved me as a human being, or help me as a human being.
Right.
It's just taking up space and time.
Right. But okay, let's one thing that we talked about off air here is about religion versus spirituality. That people want to belong to an organization, to a group that believes, or that they believe the same as the other people believe. Okay? And yet, I'll give you an example. Okay? My brother-in-law, who I love dearly, he all his life has belonged to the Episcopalian church or religion. Since he grew up, he was an Episcopalian. Mm-hmm. He is now in his 80s, and he's there. And I talked to him last year. Yeah, I think it was last year. And I talked to him more than last year, but I talked to him last year. And he said, I am going to change my religion. I'm going, how do you change your religion? What are you talking about? Yeah. He says, well, the Episcopalians have become a little too liberal for me. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to transition and become a Catholic.
It's quite a transition.
It's a transition.
Yeah, it's quite.
But it's because it's not that he says, oh, I have my beliefs and they have their beliefs. Oh, no, that organization isn't what I want anymore. I'm going to become a Catholic. He took, I don't know how many months of lessons that he had to do to become a Catholic, to learn about the Catholic faith and to learn about what's going on and what they believe in versus the Episcopalians, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And he is now a full embodied Catholic in his mind, and he belongs to the Catholic Church, and he goes to the Catholic Church. He is now happy. I, on the other hand, I grew up Lutheran. My mom and dad went to church. I went to church with them. I went to Sunday school. I never really felt I fit in Sunday school. I don't know. It wasn't really for me. And then from being a Lutheran, I went to a Catholic university. And there I am. I learned about Catholicism. All the other guys were Catholic. And they were like, hey, this and that. But they were Catholic. I was still a Lutheran. But in college, and actually afterwards, I had to live. I didn't have to live. I lived in Florida for 11, 12 years. And there, when we first moved down there, said, I belonged to a Lutheran church where we lived in L.A. And I said, let's find a church that we feel comfortable at. We looked around, and a lot of those churches that we went to for the first time, it was like, I'm so glad you're here. Oh, please. Why don't you become a member? You become a member, you can join the men's club. You can be one of us. And I'm going, back off.
Yeah.
I don't want that.
Okay, well, let me ask you though. If you didn't want that, why were you trying to join a church? Why were you doing that?
Because I have a very spiritual belief. Okay.
So you were looking
And
for the uplifting spiritual aspects of going to church, about having to participate in the
yeah,
bake sales and the potlucks
it was
and that
not
sort of thing.
to participate in all the activity. It was for me to find a place that was peaceful, that I could be there. I have, like I said, a very spiritual belief, and that happened because of I read a lot when I went to college, and I read about Eastern religions. I read about Western religions. One time, I actually read the Bible entirely.
Why? What were you looking for?
But I was looking for meaning, and meaning of what is life? What is the purpose of life? What's the purpose of my life?
So you weren't
Why am I
satisfied
here?
just going taking it day to day, and eating, sleeping,
No.
socializing, going to work.
I think everybody, I think you included, wants to find out, why are we here? What is our purpose? What is the meaning? What gives us meaning? What gives us, purpose? And now I am independent of religion, so to speak. I feel I'm very spiritual. I have very spiritual beliefs, which is basically a combination, let's say, of Eastern philosophy, Western philosophy, and I've formed my own thoughts and ideas, my own church.
Are you a nonprofit?
I'm a nonprofit. I try to give to myself.
Tax donations.
I give to myself, but it goes out the window. I have a wife, don't you?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's my religion.
What about you? Enough about me.
Well, I did the same sort of thing. My family has one of pretty much everything. So I've been around lots of Mormons, lots of Jewish people,
yeah,
lots of Catholics, lots of Christians from various denominations.
Okay.
A Jehovah's Witness, Seventh-day Adventists. About the only people I haven't really been around much are like Muslims. I had clients who were Muslims,
Right.
and I thought those were interesting people. They had a different take on life that I had never experienced before. But to me, the thing they all had in common was most of the people who were in these religions were there because that's what their parents did.
Mm-hmm. Right.
That's the way they were brought up.
Right.
And was just part of kind of the route existence. They didn't think of it as anything special. It was just part of their personality. But that's different than trying to seek out a religion because you're using it as a vehicle to find meaning.
Okay.
And so I came from a space where I was initially raised, I think it was Methodist, but my mother remarried and my stepfather was an adamant atheist.
Okay.
Completely adamant. And so
did that influence you?
No, I didn't like or listen to or do anything he suggested. So,
okay.
Yeah, we get along very well. So no, it didn't have any influence on me. But I was interested, like you, in meaning, and I did look at these religions, and
Mm-hmm.
I did pay attention when I was around them to see if there was anything that would kind of spark interest. And
Right.
I admire the philosophy of especially Catholics and the Jewish religion. I think they're some of the oldest and in one sense kind of, even though they're completely opposite, they're kind of similar in that they're pure. You know where you are if you're a Catholic or if you're a Jew. Whereas if you're a Protestant, you're still trying to figure out what Martin Luther meant on some of this stuff.
No, yeah. I just, we're talking about meaning here.
Yeah.
But do you think that people find meaning through religion, or do they find meaning in their life, different places in their life as they go along from other things? There's a whole different thing about the religion and the spirituality, because I don't believe in religion. I don't believe one faith is the way to go. Don't tell me that, okay, if you don't believe like I believe, you're not going to go to heaven. And my definition of heaven is different than, you're going through the pearly gates and you're there, and it's a whole different thought process of what goes on after we pass on.
Yeah.
But for the fact, meaning of life, or meaning of life as we go along. As a kid, my meaning of life was being on the baseball team and being able to succeed. That was my meaning of life.
Yeah, that's all it took when you were a young man,
Yeah.
a young boy, is if you did well in a sport, then that's all you cared about. That's all that was important to you.
But you grow up or you grow older and your meaning of life changes. And actually, you start, at least for me, you start looking at other things. And yeah, you have the meaning of, oh, I want to get married. I want to get married. I want to have children, which I did, and which you did, Michael. You did too. And you think that that is really your purpose. But what is that? Is that your purpose? Or is that what your meaning is?
Well, I don't know.
I mean, meaning is, are you doing good? Are you helping somebody? Are people, whatever?
Yeah, you talk about heaven. I remember reading somewhere, and I don't know who wrote it. I wish I did. I don't remember, but basically the crux of it was that when you are a young man and you have a beautiful young wife and a couple of gorgeous little kids, and everybody's healthy and everybody's doing well and everything's going fine, that's as good as it gets.
Mm-hmm.
And it cannot get better than that. I can't imagine heaven being better than that. And so from that point on, your life is all about loss. As people you love die, people you know leave,
Right.
people you care about grow up and get old. And it's just like we're on a slope, a downhill slope. And I think people are looking for meaning about that. Why is that happening? Why is this happening? What is my purpose? What is the whole point of this?
But you said something that you said, oh, my meaning is I have a beautiful wife, I have beautiful children, I'm so happy with that. But is that your meaning, or are you looking for something else? Are you looking for purpose in your job? Are you looking for meaning in your job? Are you doing something that you truly, truly love? Kimberly and I were talking about that this morning, and I was saying, there was a time before I got into the entertainment industry, which I've been in all my adult life, but before I got in, I was working at credit unions, and I was struggling along, and I'd go out to a Taco Bell, or I'd go out to a McDonald's, or I'd go out to Burger King, whatever, and I'd have my lunch and I'd sit there, and then I'd have to go back to the office and go to work. When I was on this show, Happy Days, if anyone wants to know, great, long ago and far away. Anyway, and I was in the screening room with Jerry Paris, my mentor and the director of the show, and I'm sitting in the screening room, and we're watching, looking at an episode that had been cut together, and I'm sitting there, and I'm eating my lunch, and I'm thinking to myself, I am so happy and lucky to be where I am. This is my life. I love what I'm doing. I had purpose. I had meaning. And I was going, oh my gosh, this couldn't be more wonderful than right now. So other people, unfortunately, people don't they have to survive. And I think that brings up another point. Let me ask you this. The status or where you come from, if you grow up in poverty, is your meaning different than somebody who grows up with wealth?
Oh, I think so. I think speaking for someone who grew up poor, it was all about just trying to be comfortable, trying to have a warm, safe place to sleep at night and have some food and
Mm-hmm. Right.
a reliable vehicle and some gas in the car. I mean,
Did that
those
give you meaning, though?
that was it. Was my whole life was about that, and trying not to get a parking ticket because that would take a whole day's wages away from me.
Yeah.
Work for free, that kind of thing. So those were, when you said you're sitting in that cutting room and feeling so fantastic and your life had meaning. What meaning did it have, though? The meaning was it made you happy?
That I was doing something that I loved, and I was going. Honestly, I was thinking to myself, "Oh my gosh, I'm here eating lunch in a screening room, watching a television show. An episode that we're cutting together and putting together.
Yeah.
And I'm going, here I am, versus sitting at a Taco Bell, eating my lunch alone, and then having to go back to work that I didn't. I did it to survive, to make money. Everybody struggles.
Sure.
And I'm going, I am, quote, blessed to be doing this. And that gave me meaning.
Yeah.
That gave me purpose.
Well, yeah, I get that. I get that. I mean, I think about my son who is a scientist, works for a heart valve company, and his job is to develop and refine the materials in the heart valve that can be collapsed down and pushed through an artery and opened up in your heart without surgery.
Right.
And that's what he does. That's his thing. He's been doing it for quite a while, and he's saved countless lives.
Yeah.
Countless lives, and made people's lives so much better. That's the meaning he gets from his job. Me, it was just one person at a time, one client at a time.
Yeah.
And representing them, and that gave me meaning. But as you get older, those things become, at least for me, they become a lot less important. Especially after now you and I both have retired.
Right.
And neither one of us is getting any meaning from our jobs per se.
Yeah, right.
We're gainfully unemployed. So how do you find meaning now? What do you do?
I am having more enjoyment now because it gives me the opportunity to read things I want to read, to write things I want to write, to spend time with my wife when you're, and we enjoy each other's company. We go on trips, we do things. It gives me meaning, and I still like and think about the opportunity of giving and helping people, which comes back to, let's talk about religion, about giving, tithing, etc. But to me, is always being a good person and helping other people. And, I have
But all right, but specifically, though, what do you do right now to help other people?
What do I do?
Yeah.
If somebody needs a helping hand, I'll be willing to go help them. I've always been like that, though.
Okay.
I'll be willing to. You need something? I'll come over. I'll help you with that. Or if somebody is going through a trauma or something, I have an ear.
Okay.
Whatever you want to say, talk to me.
Okay, because I've heard you say a couple of times now that meaning for you equate meaning with happiness.
Yeah.
When you're happy, you're getting meaning by being happy.
Yes. And it's not me, though. It's if I can make somebody else happy, if I can make, we've known each other now, and if you had a problem or you had an issue, I want you to be able to come to me, to talk to me, and whether I can help or not, at least I can listen to you and give you my opinion of what I think.
Okay.
I think that's helpful.
It is, but earlier, though, you said you got a lot of meaning and happiness out of working on happy days,
Yes, yes,
and
yes.
you got a lot of meaning and happiness now
Yeah.
by being able to have time to be with with your wife
Right,
and be able to
right.
read
Yes,
and do sports and things like that.
yes.
So, what about if you had an opportunity to I don't know, say plant 100 trees a day? Would that, there's you're
Would
accruing
that
a
give
lot
me
more.
meaning?
Yeah,
No,
it wouldn't.
no,
Even though you'd be
no.
adding to the tree
I would be adding
population.
to the, to help the planet.
Yeah.
And no, that's not me.
So you need an
I,
aspect of personal happiness to go along with it.
I, I,
I'm just curious.
of personal happiness, it's something that somebody else would find that extremely rewarding.
Yeah.
I wouldn't. I wouldn't to go out and do that. Um, I would rather help somebody with their issues or their problems. Maybe I should have been a psychiatrist,
Yeah, maybe.
psychologist.
Yeah.
What about you?
Well,
What makes you happy, or what gives you meaning in life? I know you said your wife and kids and all that.
yeah, they certainly made it. I mean, it was all about them when I was younger
Hmm.
because I was trying to give them the best life that I could,
Right.
and so everything was focused on that, and making as much money as I could, making them as comfortable as I
Sure.
could. That was important to me, and that's how I judge it, whether I was doing okay, you know, whether that gave me meaning in my life. Now everybody's off doing their own thing.
Right.
I can't rely on that
Kids
anymore.
grow up.
Yeah, kids grow up. My wife has other interests, and
Right.
we're pretty much settled. So there's nothing there. I mean, I do things to make myself happy. I mean, I'm out on the water, or I'm out playing
Hmm.
pickleball or something. But when I injured my arm, so I can't really do it right now. But at the time, that's what I used to do. Or doing things like this is fun. I like this.
Hmm.
But
Yeah.
I get meaning out of intellectual challenges, writing things, running for the HOA board. That should be interesting.
Right.
I'll get some meaning out of that, I think.
But you're running for the HOA board.
Yeah.
Okay. And so are you running because you want to help the Jubilee community here, or are you running because you think that's going to give you more meaning and purpose?
Both. I think I can help. I think I'm uniquely situated to help right now because
Yeah.
of my past experience, and also I think it'll give me meaning. Definitely keep me busy for a while anyway.
Okay. Yeah. It'll
That
give.
busyness will give me meaning.
Are you looking for things to do because now that you're retired and before you were busy, you
Yeah.
had kids, you had
Yeah.
a wife, you had your work and everything. Now kids are grown. Wife is off doing her own thing with you, of course, at times. But and now you're saying, "Hey, what am I doing?" And
I
that
do.
therefore I'm looking at the board.
Yeah, I do that all the time. In fact, I think about it all the time about, um, what I need to do something.
Okay.
I need to do something. I need to keep busy. I need to find something to do. I mean, I looked at a lot of the usual suspects. Working for a charity, or
Right.
spending time behind a counter somewhere for some charitable organization,
Right.
or doing some sort of other charitable or political work, working for a political party or something like that.
Uh-huh.
None of those things interest me, though. Not really. I mean, I explored them, but they're not really interesting to me. I need something where I see more direct cause and effect. So, for instance, when where we used to live, the town council that I was on organized a off-ramp cleanup once a month,
Okay.
and we go out to this big long off-ramp in our community, and we take both sides of the off-ramp and go down the thing with trash bags and pick up
Okay.
all the
Right.
trash.
Right.
And I found that very rewarding because when I was done with that 3 hours, we had collected a lot of trash, and there was a big pile of
Hmm.
trash bags there on the side of the road for the state to pick up.
Right.
And I felt really good about that. And I to me, that's always been what I've looked for is something that I can do that I get that kind of feedback from. And
That you get feedback from, or that you really enjoyed helping without somebody saying that's a great thing you did.
Right. I'm not looking for praise. I
Okay.
never look for praise.
Okay.
But I did enjoy doing it. I did enjoy making things better
Yeah.
and seeing it immediately.
Okay.
It wasn't like planting a little tree someplace
Right.
and then knowing that whatever happens to that tree, I'm not going to see it because I'll be long dead by the time it gets
Yeah.
starts expressing itself in a way
Right.
that looks interesting. So
And it says, Michael planted me.
yeah.
Mhm.
So to me, I like the more cause and effect,
Right.
instant, not gratification, but instant result sort of thing.
So, what is your meaning of life now? What is your meaning, or you feel your purpose is now? Is it to help, like joining the board of Jubilee here where we live? Or is it just looking and saying, I can do other things? You're not going to go plant 20 trees because
Right.
that doesn't sound like you either.
It's not me either. No.
Okay. And so,
At least it won't give me the gratification that I would get. I mean,
right.
I guess I would feel all right after planting 20 trees,
Yeah.
but I certainly wouldn't get the meaning of life out of it.
No. And so the meaning of life, it's really a philosophical type question. What is the meaning of life? And it changes.
Yeah.
It changes
Yeah.
through your life.
So what are you doing right now to try and find meaning? What are you doing? I mean,
I think
what's your daily
meaning of life is also happiness in life to me. Okay? Because I am extremely happy in life.
Mm-hmm.
Since I've retired, people have called and wanted me to go back to work. And I've said, no, I'm not doing it. I am retired now. And being retired and thinking about that, and you have dreams about that. I don't want to call them nightmares, but they're weird dreams about, I should be on the set and I should be there, but I can't get there and I can't find my script and all that kind of stuff. It's like, oh my gosh. But right now I am extremely happy with where I am. I'm not looking for meaning of my life. I'm not looking for a purpose of my life. Like, I'll give an example. Yesterday, I sat in my chair in my living room and I'm reading this book. And I really got into it. And I have two types of things that I read. I like to read books on, let's call it, I don't know what, thrillers or spy novels
just
or
fiction, mystery, and
they're
fiction.
fiction. They're fiction. They're escapism.
Sure.
They're escapism. I used to read Robert Ludlum. I used to love his books. Frederick Forsyth.
Sure.
Used to love him. Now I read other guys, And so that's one area. And this is a book I'm reading now, is that. It's gotten me in. It's very well written. On the other hand, I like to read about metaphysical books about life, about our purpose. I used to read a lot of Edgar Cayce. I used to read, like I said, I read the entire Bible. I read Eastern religious books about Eastern religion. I've read about...
Okay, but what are you doing now, though?
What am I doing now?
Yeah.
I just finished a book.
What are you doing? In other words, what are you doing for meaning? What are you doing?
What am I doing for you?
No,
I'm sitting here
for
with
meaning,
you.
For meaning.
Oh, meaning. What am I doing? What am I doing for
I
meaning?
appreciate it,
I'm
Walter.
sitting here with you, a beautiful fireplace. We're here having an Irish coffee, having a great time talking.
This is our second Irish coffee.
This is our second Irish coffee. So what am I doing about... I don't think about meaning. I just...
Okay.
I just think about, okay, I am with, the people in my life. And like, if as an example, okay, I would go to the store and somebody there is $1 short of something and they're looking,
Yeah.
I'll give them $1.
Sure. Sure.
That's
Okay.
or
That's
somebody's,
fair.
and not everybody
So you just
on the
basically.
side of the road. I'll give you another example. I know I'm talking a lot. I always do. I cut him off. The other day, my wife is in the grocery store. I'm parked outside waiting for her, and I see a guy at the edge of the grocery store, and he's there. To me, he looks like a homeless person. And I see the homeless people all the time, and I don't give them money all the time, but I look at this guy, and he's sitting there, and he's got a little basket, and I go, I really feel for this guy. So I'm going to get 10, 20 bucks out of my wallet, and I'm going to go up to him, and I'm going to give it to him because I feel the need to do that. It gives me meaning. It gives me purpose. And I go up to him and I go, hey, I just want to give you something. You can get something to eat. He goes, oh, I'm just waiting for my wife at the store. Hey, he wasn't homeless at all. He said, no, keep your money. I'm going, I'm an idiot here. I'm going, oh, geez, okay, thank you. But, that was, for me, purposeful.
Yeah.
Because I felt like helping him.
Yeah. Well, it's hard to beat that story. You go just
But
call it a wrap. Huh?
And there I am.
Yeah.
I'm going, I really feel for this guy. Because, once my wife comes out, I'm out of here.
All right.
Okay.
So next time.
Hey, thank you for watching and for listening. And we have so much fun and enjoy our talks. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.